welcome to my new channel. I decided to start a new one just so that I had a channel completely dedicated to my beauty world, I guess. So today, since it's the end of October, I thought that I should tell some spooky stories. I did get some stories from some of my followers, and I really just wanted to share them with you, and also I'll be sharing some of my own experiences. So let me get started. Alright, so I am going to be reading all of these off of my phone. I put all their stories in here, and I will link all of their stuff down below, and I will also let you guys know what their Twitter/Instagram is. Alright, at Shay MG said, "We lived in a trailer out in the woods when I was 9, and weird stuff happened there all the time. I used to have to sleep with all my stuffed animals because things would happen. One time, I was just sitting in my room playing with my Barbies, and my closet light fell completely off the ceiling. Nothing was old in the house, so there was no reason for it to fall. Then one night I got out of the shower and it was freezing. Something opened the back door. Nobody was in the house though, because that door never got unlocked because stuff was in front of it. Then you know how when you walk on carpet your foot outline is in it? Well, that was coming towards me, but there was nobody there. Both my parents were outside. Then my mom saw a figure of a half man, and when she did the mirror by the bathtub, just cracked at the top." I kind of want to know more about, like, a haunted trailer. Because most things you see are, like, 100-year-old houses that have had so many deaths in them. Like, a haunted trailer is kind of a thing you don't really hear about. So that's kind of creepy. Kind of, like, makes me not feel safe. Like, I could get a brand new trailer and it could be completely haunted for no reason, just because it is. This story is from Colette Rawson. It's pretty long, but it's worth it. This happened when I was about 8. So my friend's old house had a lot of spirits in it, but one of them was pure evil and wanted to harm people. You could hear footsteps behind you all the time and could always sense it watching you. It would turn electronics on or release the rabbit from its cage to make sure you knew that it was there watching you. Anyways, one evening I was staying at my friend's house and we were sat in our hallway, and we must have done something to make it mad, or it was just bored, because suddenly things started going mad. The electronics and doors were slamming and opening, and then out of nowhere, my friend's mannequin head— hey, why does your friend have a mannequin head? Flew across her room and out into the hall where we were, and it would have hit me if I hadn't moved out of the way. Me and my friend were frozen. Neither of us knew how to react after that. We just looked at the head that had flown at us, and after a while we decided to go to bed and try and sleep, only for my friend to wake up screaming at night because she felt something lying on top of her in her sleep, and she couldn't move, she could only talk. So she might have just had sleep paralysis? I believe in ghosts, but like that sounds like sleep paralysis. Are you gonna make a feature? Hi! Mickey, hello! Oh, and Chester, hello! So for those of you who don't know, Chester, I have 2 dogs. I have my sweet Chester boy. This is him. He's so cute and precious, and I love him. And then I have Mickey, who's what this pillow is about. Let's see if he'll come over here. Here he is. He's a little Mickey Mouse spot. Oh, and there he is. He's my big boy. I mean, they're both tiny, but these are my boys. Okay, so I'm gonna finish the story because I'm in the middle of it. I got distracted. It's safe to say that not long after that night, my friend and her mom moved out of that house after other activities had happened. So here's the second story from her. Last year, I was in my room watching TV in the dark, and suddenly I was pinned down by this black figure. It looked like a demon. It was all black but had white eyes, and it pinned me down. and it looked me dead in the face and screamed for 10 minutes, and it wouldn't let go. That's all it did, was hold me down and scream, and then it vanished. I spoke to a psychic not long after it, and she said it was a lost spirit trying to ask for help, but couldn't. But I'm not sure. That doesn't sound like a lost spirit asking for help. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to ask for help, I don't pin people down and just go, ah! Until they do something. I mean, maybe that's just me. So I'm going to go ahead and share one of my weird stories that happened to me my freshman year of college. So I'll kind of set up the scene. So at the time, I was living with my whole family, and then I also had 2 roommates, and very literal roommates. We shared the same room. We had a triple bunk bed where it was a normal bunk bed and then a loft bed connected to it. I slept on the loft bed, and my 2 other friends slept on the bunk bed, and only one of them slept on the lowest level. There was no one else down there ever. And so at night, when we would turn off all the lights, it was pitch black. My room was abnormally dark. It was like the darkest dark. It was very eerie, and I hated it. For years while I lived there by myself, I always had to have a night light because it was so dark it freaked me out. I wish you guys could see my dog right now. He's being a precious being. So, I was sleeping in my loft bed, and they were both there, and it felt like someone was shaking their foot, and you could feel any movement that someone did. So I just called out to them and said, hey, whoever's shaking their foot, could you please stop? I can't sleep because of it. And both of them were like, I'm not shaking my foot. I thought someone else was doing that, and I wasn't saying anything. And then after they both denied it, the whole bed, including theirs and mine, started shaking super viciously, as if like some man or person, just some really big person, was shaking it. But there's no way that they could have been shaking everything because of how big the structure was. And immediately my friend from the bottom bunk climbed up and ended up sleeping in the top area with both my friend and I because it was just too freaky. That room I've had a lot of experiences with. There was definitely a dark entity. I always thought that there was like a man there because it wasn't the first experience I had where a man would do something. I had another experience where I had come back from the bathroom in the hallway, and I had been in my bed, and I thought I heard my dog scratching at my door. So I went to go check and let her in if she was in the hallway, and she wasn't there. She was in my parents' room. And so I ran back to my bed after I closed the door. And then it was like a door handle shaking almost, but like they couldn't turn it even though my door wasn't locked. And then it turned like into knocking, like just normal knocking. You know, it was like, let me in. And it was a male voice, and it really freaked me out. And I didn't do anything. I was just laying there like very still because I lived in a house full of women. There were no male voices. Like, there was no way a guy was going to be talking to me. And then after I didn't answer, it started like banging and like screaming, let me in. And no one else heard it. It was just me that heard it. And it was terrifying. And I just hid under my blankets like it was going to protect me and just prayed that my grandma, who's like my guardian angel, she's always been there. I just like prayed that she would like come help me. And I'm like not heavily religious, but I was like praying hardcore. And I just prayed and prayed and prayed until it stopped. And I was so scared, like, for the rest of the night. It was horrifying. And I didn't know what to do. And I've had a lot of things like that. Okay. So here's another one sent in by one of my followers. And his name is Makeup by JXB. I will, again, link him down below. It's a really long story. One time at my friend's house, we contacted this couple who died in his house and were not very happy about it. They talked about hanging him in his sleep and killing him just in general. We got freaked out and said goodbye, left stuff on his bed to see if they would move it while we went out to calm down. We left his childhood toy and a Bible on his bed, and then left for like 30 minutes. We came back to the toy completely across the room on his dresser, and the Bible was open to a page about being hung. We freaked out and ran downstairs. Then we got a call from 666-666-6666, which at the time was the number for that blue whale game that was making people kill themselves. Then we freaked out more and waited for his stepmom to come home, and she saged his room and she saged each of us. That's wild. Here's another story. At one of my old apartments, I did it with one of my friends, which is already stupid. We contacted 4 ghosts, an axe murderer, an old man who perved on girls, a lesbian who said she was protecting me from the axe murderer, and a little boy who played with my lights. My friends, tush. I'm not getting monetized yet, but I'm protecting myself already. Got slapped, and there was literally a handprint mark. My lights constantly turned on by themselves. 90% of the time, I would come home to my lights being on. I would hear scraping noises on my walls at night. I would often get sleep paralysis of a demonic lady who would tell me when I would have sleep paralysis next, and it always happened. So, I think that's one of those things that's like, because you're expecting it, it's gonna happen. So it's like, someone says, oh, you're gonna do this, and then you're like, no, I'm not, and you end up doing it anyway, because it's already been, like, put into the universe. Kind of thing. I don't know if you guys could hear that. My stomach is making lots of noise. Okay, here's this last story. The same house with Zozo. If you guys don't know what Zozo is, just look up Ouija board Zozo. You'll get tons of videos. I used to watch them all the time as a kid. The same house with Zozo, my friends and I used it in a bouncy house at my birthday party. We thought it wasn't working, but then all of our shirts were being tugged on here and there, and some people's hair too. So we said goodbye and went inside. The next morning, my friend woke up with so many scratches all over her legs. Oh, that wasn't the last one. Here's the last one. I used it at my other friend's house once in his room. There's a little hanging lamp above his nightstand in the corner next to his bed. We talked to this guy who was a field worker in Japan, whose mom drowned him one day. The mom then came through, only referred to herself as Mama. We asked her to show us a sign she was there, and then the lamp flickered on and off and started to swing in a circle. It was late and we were freaked out and then said goodbye. I think Mama's another Ouija board demon. Like, I'm pretty sure that I've seen stuff like that. I think there's like Zozo and Mama and stuff like that. He's the neediest dog in the world. He's just, Mommy, you're freaking out. Oh, big baby bean. Alright, so I think that's all I have for you guys. I think that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. And be sure to check everyone out that submitted their stories. I think I'm going to keep doing some haunted stories. I think they're really fascinating. They're really funny. Well, not funny, but like entertaining. I don't get to say goodbye. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.